So in the meanwhile, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Yarden. I live in the northern part of Israel. And about 8 years ago, no, now we're starting the ninth year. So 9 years ago, we started Kol Ami as a leadership program for young Australians, actually, young Australians and Israelis. So the program will start as a continuation program for IBC, Israel by Choice, if you've heard of it. Um, the participants of IBC would come to Israel, would participate in a 7th-month program. And for those who are interested in living with Israelis in a leadership program, they were able to move on to the next step and join Kol Ami. That was 9 years ago. Now we're standing in a different situation where we do have participants coming from Australia. A majority of them are coming from IBC, but we have participants coming from all over. Meaning today, Kol Ami is a leadership program for young Jews from around the world. We have about almost 300 participants coming from over 20 different countries. Meaning we have Australians and people coming from New Zealand and South Africa. We have people coming from United States, South America, Canada, and Europe and Scandinavia, and even from Japan and Singapore. All of them are young adults on their gap year, 18, 19 years old, usually, who are looking for an opportunity to maybe learn better about their Jewish identity, about Israel and Israelis, and to, at the next step, make an impact, create some change in the world. So if I'll need to summarize what Kol Ami is, let's say I wouldn't have 20 minutes, I'll have just 2 minutes. I would say it's a leadership program for young Jews from around the world, from Israel, and for Israelis and non-Israelis who want to make an impact. Now, if you were already on this seminar and seen many different opportunities, they're all wonderful, they're all great, and I have nothing bad to say about any different option. I think everyone should choose what best suits him. So I'm not going to explain much about what we do. I'm going to explain just about how are we unique, meaning what's the main differences between Kol Ami and other programs for the best of my knowledge. So I would say the main difference is Kol Ami is built as a program for both Israelis and non-Israelis. 1/3 of our participants are non-Israelis coming from around the world. 2/3 are Israelis, and they all share the exact same program. These are not programs running side by side, one in English and one in Hebrew. It's one program, so every campus, I'll explain later on about the different campuses, but every campus has about 35, 40 participants. I would say 1/3 of them are, let's say 15 are non-Israelis, 25 are Israelis. This is usually what happens. And the program is being held in English for the first 3 months, and after that in Hebrew for the last 3 months. It's a 6-month program. Now there is an exception for those who are coming for the entire 6 months and don't have a good enough level of Hebrew. There's also an opportunity to be with Israelis who have better English, and they'll spend the entire 6 months in English. But there is also a possibility to have half of the program in English and after that half in Hebrew for those of you who have a fair level of Hebrew and assume they might be able to improve their Hebrew a lot while they're here, so they'll be able to participate in the second 3 months in Hebrew. So, like I said, one thing that we're unique in is that it's a joint program for both Israelis and non-Israelis. And the second distinction I'm gonna make from most of the other programs, not all of them, but we're a leadership program. That's our goal, to make an impact, to create the next generation of Jewish leaders worldwide, to be involved in the community, to care about the things that are happening in the world, and to make a difference. As a leadership program, we do not care that much about giving you the best experience and the most fun activities. I mean, I'm sorry to say it here out loud, but our goal is to create something meaningful that will make a change in your lives, the way you see the world. It will help you to further explore your connection to Israel and your own Jewish identity. And through that, and through the meaningful encounters we'll have worldwide, like with all the other participants, we're hoping to create a network of young Jewish leaders. Now, it doesn't mean our program is not fun. I think it's a lot of fun, and I'll show you a video soon to show that. But the main aspect of the program is not creating you guys different activities and I don't know, going bowling and going with a Segway to travel Israel. It's not that. Our main goal is to give you guys tools to create a project in the future or during the Mechina, to make an impact, to affect other people, to establish something of your own or with your friends. And that's the main purpose. So most of the schedule and most of the activities that we do, or even all of them, are run by the participants themselves. Our job as staff members is not to give you the best experience, is to help you make one, to help you create the best experience. So we are there, and slowly, gradually, since day one of the program, we're dividing you guys into different working groups. Some will be in charge of different hikes. Some will be in charge of the different lecturers who are coming and the different seminars that are happening. Some will be in charge of the volunteer and the community involvement project that we're having. But in every activity, in everything that happens on Mechina, there'll be a participant, one of you guys, who's in charge of that. And we're there to help you, to escort you, to show you the way, to give you more tools. And so throughout a very long, meaningful process, you guys will have better tools, better knowledge of how to create things, how to make changes, and how to make this world a better place, I would say. So I hope I didn't confuse you that much. Mechina is a concept in Israel that most Israelis understand very quickly because it's a leadership program that we have different mechinot all over Israel. But I know for people who are not coming from Israel or non-Israelis, it's a relatively new concept where it's a program where the participants are carrying out most of the activities on their own as part of a group, and we're there just to escort them. There is a lot of fun. There is a lot of different encounters. You'll meet not only the participants in the program, these 35, 40 participants that are with you in the same location, but you'll also go out hiking, traveling, seeing many different cultures in Israel. Because if we want to enrich your identity, we'll have to give you enough knowledge. So you'll learn about Israel through meeting other people, through, for example, traveling in the northern part of Israel, and meeting the Druze, meeting some farmers, meeting some Israelis who live on the kibbutzim here. If you visit in the south, you'll meet the Bedouins. You'll travel around the desert of Israel, and you'll see people who live near the Gaza Strip. If we'll go on, for example, the Judea and Samaria series, you'll meet right-winged organization, left-winged organization, Jews who live in the settlements, Palestinians who live in these occupied territories, etc. We'll try to give you the best knowledge and the best information of everything that happens here, both on everything that happens in Israel, and also everything that happens regarding Jewish identity, Jewish history. You learn about Jewish heritage. You learn about Jewish communities worldwide, and things like that. So all of these things are being held in different campuses. In every campus, like I said, about 40 participants, a bit less, which during the day they learn, they listen to lectures, they listen to they have different debates, and they organize their own projects. And every 2 weeks or so, they go out on an outdoor series, like a different seminar or something like that. So before I continue, I'll just show you a short 1-minute video of, it's something that the participants arranged a few years ago. That's what I found. I just looked very briefly today what I have, and this is what I found. It's a short video that shows what's happening on the program. It shows pretty much the everyday life and the different seminars that we have. It's without words, so after that I'll explain a bit more, and then I'll leave room for questions, and I'll explain about what's happening nowadays during the COVID-19, and how did we have all of our participants come to Israel, and what's happening with them now in the time of a lockdown. I don't know if you've heard, but Israel is now talking about a lockdown. So I'll leave time also to talk about that. Right. So just a minute. I see a question here. Are all weekends free? Is that for me? No, it's not for me. Okay. But if you ask about the weekends, I see that was something they asked previously. So I'll show you the schedule. I hope you can see. This is last year's schedule. This year's schedule is full of differences and surprises because of the COVID-19. I'll explain about that in a minute. But let's say that's a regular schedule. This is how the Mechina looks like. We start at the beginning of September. We finish at the end of February. It's a 6-month program. As I said before, if you came at the beginning, it's a continuation program for IBC. So you can either join, if you didn't do any IBC or not coming as part of IBC, you can either join from the beginning to the end. That's going to be 6 months for you, starting September, ending the end of February. Or if you are part of IBC, the Israel by Choice program, you'll come only for, you have an option to come only for 3 months, like the last 3 months of the program. So you'll start at the beginning, but you'll be over by the end of November. You see here, farewell to IBC and beginning second half. So the program is built on 2 halves. This every month has its own indoor activities, which is all the white days you see. These are routine days where you sit in the Mechina, you do volunteer work, you learn, you listen to different lectures, you have different debates, and you're in charge of your own project, the leadership project we talked about. You have outdoor series and seminars, so everything you see blue is like outdoor series. And you have the seminars, and you have the yellow, which is the outdoor series. So you don't have to really dig in to understand the schedule, but just looking at the colors, you can see like 2 or 3 weeks are routine weeks. In between we have some seminars, and like once or twice a month, there'll be a whole week out. Navigation week, for example, Sukkot hike, Judea and Samaria series. Here we had Army Prep seminar, which is not just for people who are joining the Army. I mean, like I said before, 1/3 of our participants are not joining the Army, but they are learning a bit about what's happening in the IDF. They have like a 2-day experience of what it's like to be a soldier, which is something that we find challenging and nice and educating. Streams of Judaism, Self-Challenge, and the Trans-Israel Hike. And that's mainly the way the program looks like. Now I have 5 more minutes, so I'll just explain 2 last things, and then if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer. First, about the different campuses we have. We have 7 different campuses all around Israel, from the northern part, which is in Carmel, till the center and the area of Jerusalem. 4 of these branches are mixed, meaning pluralistic for both religious, secular, and everything that's in between. And 2 of our campuses are for religious Orthodox, together with Bnei Akiva. And the 7th campus is a secular, but it's for people who are coming from South America. and Israelis. So in all of the different campuses, the schedule is pretty much the same. The main difference is where they volunteer. So let's say up in north, they're in a youth village for youth at risk, and they volunteer with the youth. In the other places, they're either in a youth village, same like in the north, or they're in kibbutzim. And that brings me to talk about COVID-19. Look, our program wasn't hurt that bad. I mean, and considered to the schedule and curriculum. The participants came, they had to come to Israel to be 2 weeks in quarantine. People are not coming from green countries. And then we started off. I mean, the program luckily hasn't changed that much. People should wear masks. That's the law in Israel. And people are divided into different capsules, every capsule of about 28 participants or less. And the curriculum starts as planned. I mean, we're going to have Navigation Week. We're going to have the Judea and Samaria Seminar. We're going to have the South Challenge, hopefully, unless things are going to change. Something that does happen is now they're talking about a lockdown in Israel. So if there will be a lockdown in Israel, as a leadership program, we can't afford it to sit down in a classroom and learn about philosophy or psychology or gender studies or economics while the places where we are suffering and in need of help. So if there will be a lockdown, we'll change the activity, for example, in the youth villages that will help the more throughout all over the youth village. If we're in kibbutzim, we'll help the older population to bring them food, to bring them what they need. So the main thing that COVID-19 did to us is just we have to keep an open mind. If things are changing, we'll become like a task force to help wherever we're needed. That's part of being a leader, I think, taking responsibility and being active. But without that, I mean, their curriculum is going to stay the same. It's a very challenging, demanding program. It's a lot of fun. Like you saw in the video, people are smiling, even though, like I said, it could be very demanding. And I think the main thing about Mechina, about our program or Mechina in general, is that it really is something that impacts your life for many years. I did Mechina 16 years ago. The best friends I have now are from the Mechina, and it made a change in my life and my wife as well. We met on Mechina, and I see all the people there. It's like a life-changing experience. It gave me a lot of tools, helps me throughout almost everything I'm doing throughout the day. And I think these are tools really worth learning, and they're going to come in handy for whatever you're going to do up next. So I have 2 more minutes if you want to ask questions or to relate to something I said. I'll happily answer. Just last word about the weekends. Like you saw on the curriculum, it's usually 1 week on Mechina, 1 week off. And when I say week off, 1 weekend off, sorry. And when I said a weekend off, you're usually spending it with like hosted at the Israelis' houses. I mean, the main thing that comes out of our program is the strong connection between the Israelis and non-Israelis. So after the end of the program, you're going to have a lot of Israeli friends. And that's pretty much it. Hope to talk to you. Happy to talk to you.
Thank you so much. If anyone has any questions, pop them in the Q&A or the chat. Otherwise, Jen, if you want to put your details into the chat, if anyone wants to ask after the session, they're welcome to as well. Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a meaningful year.
Thank you so much, Anata. Bye-bye.